Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So, where we last left off, there was a... This is a very interesting session for the last part. So far, I think... So, it's Jessica's turn for during the love trial. And she picked Kiri. And it resulted from Jessica having a conversation with Kiri about asking for love advice, and it resulted to Kiri's backstory, which is pretty. And I already gave my sort of ramblings on for that. So, if anything, Kiri's backstory feels very complicated as well, but it also resulted into a ongoing spiral of jealousy that is ongoing. Sorry. Yeah, it's a tragic if you put it that way. Anyway, let's continue. And I feel like I'm actually liking the 6th episode because it really just explores more within the with the middle-aged characters that have their backstory, so... Or, most of the characters, yeah. By now, Jessica was speechless, and didn't even urge Kiri to continue. This true form of love that Kiri was telling her about was far, far more harsh than anything she had imagined. Well, her Kiri's belief of love is I could say, it fuels her ego and jealousy of the sort. That's all I can say.
今の私はルドルフさんを私のところにつなぎ止めるためなら何でもするわ。そしてルドルフさんの敵には一切容赦しない。
Is that the reason why, like, you've been cursing Asumu-san that way, like, with her, your fuel of jealousy? Because it was giving it away from the 3rd episode too. It was you did admit that you weaponized your jealousy that way.
あの人が望むならば、私は人殺しさえも躊躇しないかもしれない。
You would not hesitate on murder. Wow. That is fucking wild.
18年目にしてようやくその決意を持ったからこそ絶対の意志が奇跡を私にもたらしてくれた。
You resolved yourself to doing that?
奇跡はね、それを自ら成し遂げられる者のところにしか現れない。
What? Am I having a stroke? Asumu's death had not been a murder of any sort. Wait. But Kiri didn't even murder Asumu. You're technically, you're just... because in the 3rd episode, it made this sound like you've been wishing for her death. That's... Although... That's what I question. I feel like it's not a direct murder. I feel like Asumu wasn't really murdered though. Although I don't know how Asumu got actually murdered. I have a vague memory of how that happened. I feel like if anything, Kiri was wishing for her death. So would that count as an indirect murder of the sort? I don't know. Asumu's death had not been a murder of any sort. However, Kiri had constantly cursed her and hoped for her death. Well, there you go. And finally, on the 18th year, she had built up the determination to kill her with her own hands. And she actually had gotten herself a blade to do the deed with. Oh wait, what? To do the deed with. That was when the miracle had occurred. What?
アスムおばさんが亡くなったことが奇跡。
Oh.
違うわ。
Was a miracle? What?
そんなの全然奇跡じゃない。
Close to a miracle? What the fuck? So what you're saying is not relied by a miracle. You actually murdered her.
だって彼女が死ななければ私が殺していたもの。つまり彼女は必ず死ぬ運命だった。奇跡なのは彼女が死んだにもかかわらず私が自らの手を汚さずに済んだ。この一点に尽きるのよ。
Wow. What the I stopped the recording around like right around in the mid, but this is what? Until now, Kiri had never shown Jessica. No, she had never even shown Rudolph that glint in the deepest depths of her eyes. It told plainly and clearly that romance and art are not the sweet and fluffy candies that young girls imagined them to be. Jessica was overwhelmed by that pressure and stunned to silence, and she had to acknowledge it. This was the power of will that could make love be realized. With the force of this willpower, Kiri had supported Rudolph as a wife. And it was the same as George's. He had already developed and proven that he had the willpower to oppose all obstacles to love between different classes. Right now, Jessica could clearly understand. This was the magnitude of George's determination, which had allowed him to coldly carry out his part of the trial. Then what about her? Did she really have the resolve to make her love with Canon bear fruit and to then harvest that fruit?
ごめんなさい。軽いアドバイスのつもりが怖がらせすぎちゃったかしら。この天気のせいね。軽く凄むだけのつもりだったのに加減を間違えちゃったわ。
Kiri let a relaxed smile rise to her face. I mean, it's too late now. I mean, you already revealed your true colors. And when I'm saying that Kiri revealed her true colors, I mean like she, you know, I'm just okay. Okay, calling Kiri evil would be kind of unfair. I think what Kiri did was like she's overdriven with like jealousy and spite to where like you just really you would lose sympathy with a Kiri's situation. So Kiri let a relaxed smile rise to her face. The tense atmosphere finally slackened. However, her words had been gouged into Jessica's heart.
ジェシカちゃんの恋がどんなものかはわからないけれど、ライバルがいてお互いが譲れない状況ならばなおのこと、のんびりなんかしてられない。じゃないと私みたいになっちゃうわよ。女は恋のために人生で一度殺意を持つべきよ。世界中で母を名乗るすべての女がそうだったと断言できるわ。
Is this like the kind of... Are you trying to give her like the moral right to... Hang on. What kind of what kind of love philosophy is this? Is Kiri demonstrating like her she had the moral right to kill your love rival as a part of jealousy? Is that what you're trying to tell Jessica this? Because that's actually pretty wild. Because I don't know. I don't know if it's either Sumu being a blame for this or Kiri herself. I mean, Kiri, if anything, Kiri looks like you're kind of being the huge part of blame there. I mean, even though I think Rudolph's no uh you know Rudolph being the womanizer based on the charisma, but if anything, that's ooh, it's great. That's wild.
だってそうじゃない女は他の女に食い殺されて生涯を嫉妬と後悔の地獄で這い続けるのだから。私はその地獄に18年いた。私は幸運よ。たった18年で恩赦になれた。
Your 18 years of jealousy.
あの地獄には今も大勢の女たちがいて死ぬまで出られないの。後悔する自分を自らの手で処刑しない限りね。
So Kiri had a passionate love for Rudolph all along, except she had to like fight for it because with a competitive spite.
なんていうか言葉もないです。
There is some bit of conflicting thoughts. Can't blame you there.
エールを送るつもりだったのに私ったら脅しすぎたわ。本当にごめんなさい。恋愛なんてもっともっと気楽でいいのよ。恋愛なんて本当に火遊び。誰でも簡単に気軽に遊べちゃう。そして間違えて大やけどした時その傷が生涯残るんだけどね。
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like, when it comes to love, act right now before it's too late. Regrets from love never fade. That was all that Kiri had been trying to communicate. It wasn't like Kiri to start telling stories from her past, stories you would normally expect her to avoid instead of giving a brief answer. However, Kiri might have thought Jessica deserved to hear. Jessica had timidly brought up the subject of love. Perhaps Kiri had opened up and told everything because she had seen the fires of Jessica's determination in her eyes.
じゃあ私はそろそろ戻るわね。今の話私たちだけの内緒よ。
Sure. Whatever. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna talk about the narrative to how you've indirectly, quote unquote, murdered someone, so I guess, I don't know. With a mysterious smile on her face, Kiri turned around.
脅しすぎちゃったかしら。でも脅されて知る地獄の方が100倍いい。そこに落ちた時はもう手遅れなのだから。頑張ってね、ジェシカちゃん。ややこしそうな恋だけど負けないでね。たまには人生の先輩らしく振る舞えたかしら。
I don't know. Judging from the way you said that story, it sounds like you're you're a little too uh what's it? What's it? Maybe abrasive? I mean, I don't know if abrasive would be the word to describe her, but okay, so it's not abrasive. I don't know. Intimidating? Uh, either way.
何ジェシカちゃん。
Huh. A windstorm raised Kiri's head. Wow. Look at. I see. She has a different look on her face. And we are back due to the interruption. So we stopped around there where Jessica changed her behavior. So, well, as far as I know, I guess I wonder what made Jessica snap. Did Kiri was able to snap her out of it to as part of a love advice, or is Jessica about to throw hands because all of this whole jealousy competition? Is this one of this whole it kind of reminds me of the episode 3 of with Kiri versus Leviathan, considering like Leviathan resembles herself as the you know embody she is the embodiment of envy as far as I know. Let's see, where is she? Yeah, Leviathan. So one of the one of the 7 deadly sins is involves the envy. So I wonder if it's like this type of thing, but this is Jessica versus Kiri, so let's see. It had been a hair's breadth away. If Kiri hadn't twisted her body slightly, that fist would probably be buried in her face by now. Jessica about to punch Kiri in the face. She's gonna Mike Tyson her ass. A bitter smile rose to Jessica's face when she saw that her first strike had failed to land a kill.
言っとくけど卑怯者だから不意打ちをしたわけじゃねえんだぜ。わけのわからないうちに一撃で痛みさえ理解できないうちに終わらせようとしたのに。
Did Kiri's unintended... I didn't know Kiri's unintended malice caused it to trigger Jessica like that.
言ったでしょ、嫉妬の地獄で生きてきたって。刺されそうになったことの2度や3度あるんだから。わかるのよ、不意打ちの直前の雰囲気が。
気配で分かったとでも？
それプラス一番最初の嘘かしら。
Wait, she said what was the lie? Did I had a stroke? Did I just forget to like analyze the whole thing?
嘘？
だってゲストハウスから来てジェシカちゃんの部屋で本を取って帰ろうとしたら、ここでこの向きでは出会わないもの。
Oh, right. Jessica was fabricating an excuse, just to talk to Kiri.
あなたがその嘘をつく必要性についてチェス盤理論で想定した7つのケースの中で最悪のものがこれだったわ。
Of the 7 reasons you might have had for lying, 7 reasons. Is the 7 reasons like the reference to like is she just referring to like the 7 deadly sins thing? Because it said 7 reasons and there are 7 deadly sins. Telling a hasty lie to Kiri would only put her on her guard. If Jessica hadn't told that lie, her surprise attack would have succeeded.
やるね。さすがキリエおばさんだぜ。
どうして？あなたは最初から私を殺すつもりだったの？
誰でもよかった。
最悪だわ。
キリエおばさんの話のおかげで吹っ切れた。感謝するぜ。
She's like, what? Kiri dodged the punch, placed her hand against that fist, and slammed it against the wall. Normally, Jessica would have hurt her hand on the wall and rolled around clutching at it in pain. However, Jessica's fist had left what looked like a meter-wide crater in the wall. I see. I see that Jessica has been had changed earlier. Instead of wearing a look of anguish, Jessica clicked her tongue in irritation at having missed.
すごいわね。さすがクラウス兄さんの子だわ。ボクシングでも始めたの？
Oh. Alright. So that explained in episode 4, I didn't even think of that when it comes to episode 4. Or how Jessica was able to have the ability to punch things. Because I'm assuming she learned it from Kraus. Impossible. Jessica is barehanded. She isn't holding any sort of weapon at all.
抵抗しないで、おばさん。頭一発。痛みなんか感じさせない。
Kiri tried to look confident, but she couldn't hide her confusion at this unreal destructive force. If that punch had hit, her head probably would have split open like Jessica had said, killing her without any pain. Yeah. Kiri's head would have exploded like a freaking watermelon. Without any pain.
行くぜ。
If Kiri's kick off the ground and backward leap had been an instant slower, her guts would probably have been pulverized. Though she had avoided it by a hair, Jessica's left body blow was followed by a terrible burst of wind, like an explosion, which blew Kiri back.
これは夢？私寝ぼけてる？わけがわからない。
This Jessica looked like the normal Jessica, but something was different. It wasn't human, and common sense didn't apply to it. What? Common sense didn't apply to it. You know, it sounds like a really stupid theory, but why do I get the feeling that a demon possessed Jessica by now? Is this Leviathan? The taking over Jessica's body? Question mark. Nah, that sounds like another shonen bullshit. This had to be some kind of nightmare. Kiri slowly stood up. Then she looked at Jessica, noticed the several meters between them, and realized just how far the blast of wind had sent her flying.
恨んでくれていいぜ。でも私もキリエおばさんの言うようにいけないんだ。 私も自分の声中途半端には終わらせられねえんだ。
あなたは何を言ってるの？ねえ、何を言ってるの？何なのよこれは一体。
Damn. I guess Kiri got lost her. Usually Kiri is usually confident, and now it's like she's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
誰か教えて。
The scene around Jessica seemed to bend like a heat wave. It seemed to be enshrouding her fists. Oh my god. The scene. Shrouding her fists, and it seemed as though something like a red magic circle had appeared beneath her feet. It looked just like a western demon standing amidst the flames of hell.
炎熱不要、重量不要、鉄鋼不要。
Flame upgrade, mass upgrade, armor piercing. What is this? What is this RPG-like mechanics going on? Each time Jessica muttered, her fists were surrounded by a pulsating, sinister red light. Those fists, which were actually smoking, surely represented the iron hammers of hell wielded by demons.
さよなら。これは悪夢なのよ。
Kiri dashed away with lightning speed. Yes, right now that was her best option. Fortunately, she was smart enough to realize that pinching her cheek wasn't the best way to wake up from this nightmare.
ロノウ、
When Jessica muttered once more, a blood-red magical barrier cut across the corridor. Kiri slammed into it hard and realized that her path of escape had been cut off.
やめてよ、こんなわけのわかんないの。これは悪夢だわ。悪夢なのよ。覚めて、早く。
ああ、悪夢だぜ。それが望みならすぐに覚めさせてやるよ。一撃さ、動かないで。
Wielding her flames, Jessica slowly stepped forward towards her. Each time her foot lifted off the floor, a scorching steam hung around her footprint. This was a true nightmare. Kiri clutched her head in her hands, shaking it over and over again.
悪夢なのね。これは悪夢なのね。
I don't know, man. I guess it's Jover. It's I'm asking the same question as you are.
お願い、そうだと言って。
ああ、悪夢だぜ。
It is indeed a nightmare.
悪夢なのね。悪夢なのね。
Oh my god.
私が認めてやるぜ。これが悪夢さ。
認めるわ。これは悪夢だと認める。だから
覚ましてやるぜ。一撃でな。
Wait, what? So Leviathan decided to make an appearance. Okay, so I wasn't. So it's not the demon possessing her. Jessica's neck was twisted at an odd angle, and she staggered backwards, her eyes white, as though she didn't have a clue what had just happened. In her forehead, a demon stake was buried at an angle. It pulled itself out of her, spun around, then became Leviathan and landed. The hole left behind in Jessica's head spewed blood.
人のレビアタンここに
悪夢の中だっていうなら、私の悪夢に出てくる友人がいてもいいわよね。
Oh wow. So you mean to tell me that Leviathan is on Kiri's side? What the fuck?
嫉妬の地獄の友人よ。危機一髪だったわ。ありがとう。
感謝は早いわ。こいつ耐えてる。
Interesting. I see that I'm amazed that Jessica was able to survive from that. Normally anything, can kill Jessica pretty easily. From the previous episodes, that is, so. Even though she had taken a deep gouge to the top of the head, Jessica just stood there, convulsing and white-eyed, and didn't fall over. The blood stopped pouring out of her forehead, and her blank, doll-like eyes returned. Then, she slowly pressed her own hand against the wound in her forehead. There was a sizzle, as though she had pressed a hot iron against it. It was easy to tell that she was doing this to seal up the wound. If Kiri didn't escape now, there would never be another chance.
あいつを倒せる。
無理ね。あいつ大悪魔の誰かと契約してるわ。不死身よ。
それは愛ゆえに。だから不死身なのさ。
That is ridiculous.
愛よ偉大なれ。我らの祝福する者に不死身あれ。
この赤い魔法の壁は破れる。
ロノエ様も大悪魔。私じゃ無理よ。
Wild.
窓から逃げられる。
Excuse me.
窓もとっくにロノエ様の結界で塞がれてるわ。
すごいわね。恋のために悪魔に魂を売ったわけかしら。
Well, that explained everything.
よくもあんな大悪魔たちとこんなにも契約が。妬ましい。装甲不要。全属性防御。攻撃反応装甲不要。
Counter-attacking armor upgrade. In a response to these words, this time her entire body pulsated with a red light. She had upgraded herself with a defensive power that would prevent Leviathan's attacks from working again.
あいつ何を言ってる。
自己増強よ。エンチャントっていうの。今のあいつは私に二度と貫かせない防御力を持ち、その上 攻撃者にダメージ反射する力まで持ってる。もう人間じゃないわ、化け物よ。
なんだ、さっきと大して変わってないわね。
そうとも言う？
最初の時点から勝ち目がないことに何の変化もないわ。
痛かった。でももう効かない。
Jessica slowly lifted the hand that had been covering her forehead, and there was no longer any hole there. The hall was cut off by barriers on both sides, and even the windows were sealed. There was no way out.
そこの部屋の扉封印されてる。
ただの正常だわ。でもただの部屋よ。窓はあるけれどすでに封印されてるわ。つまりは密室、私たちの棺桶ってわけ。
棺桶上等だわ。鍵を開けて。
Coffin is what you need? Oh boy.
妬ましいわ。あんたにしか開けられないなって。
Leviathan's stake flew about at high speeds, ramming itself into the keyhole to that room. The tip of the stake had become a key. As soon as it was unlocked, the door flew open. Both of them fell into the room and quickly locked it. This was probably Krause's study. Its soothing furnishings brought about a sense of nobility that Krause would probably like.
正常なんかしてもあいつは扉を一撃で打ち砕けるわ。キリエは自分で自分の棺桶の蓋を閉じただけよ。
It's Jover. I mean, she's got to find some sort of... Maybe Krause has something in this room that Kiri could find use.
でもね、棺桶の中で私たちにとどめを食らわせたかったら蓋を開けなければならない。
Jessica was like, question mark? With dim eyes, Jessica tilted her head upon hearing Kiri's words.
何を言ってんの？
Excuse me.
その小さな部屋がどうしておばさんを守ってくれると？
This is like one of those horror movie tropes where you lock yourself into a room that you already blocked your escape from. Oh boy, so dumb.
確かにこの部屋は密室だわ。私たちのタイルはない。でもね、あなただってこの部屋には侵入できないのよ。それが密室というもの。
何を言っている？そんなちっぽけな部屋のこんなちっぽけな扉一枚でどうして私から逃れたつもり？
Jessica warily looked between her own burning fists and the door, with a confused expression on her face. Then slowly, she sent that pulsating red light to her fists. She repeatedly enchanted her fists to give them the destructive power for the killing blow.
こんな扉、粉々にしてやる。
Let me guess. Why is Kiri confident, I wonder? See, she says something about the close the room trick. So, let's see.
できるならね。やってごらんなさい。
Kiri, I mean, Leviathan is like, Kiri, you idiot! After sealing the door and calmly saying those words, Kiri placed a single index finger on the door. Jessica slowly raised her fire-wreathed demon's fists.
さよならキリエおばさん。
Alright. Great. Time to brace for impact. Kiri, I mean, what am I saying? I'm so dumb. Jessica's fists slammed into the door in slow motion. It was like the decisive scene in a movie and being acted out. However, this was no act. Jessica's fists really were slowing down as though they were being sucked in, like a spoon sinks through a jar of honey. That punch was no longer a punch. It was no more than a knock.
嫉妬するのよ、あなたに。私は恋に対する甘えと傲慢から18年嫉妬の地獄を張ったわ。だからあなたが妬ましいの。あなたは私の忠告を受けて恋を成就させて美しい人生を歩むでしょうね。
Was that it?
ああ、妬ましいわ。女の一番美しい時間をあなたは私よりも18年も長く過ごせる。ああ、妬ましい。
Jessica tried to slam her fists against the door over and over again. However, as soon as her fists approached it, its speed plummeted. She could barely knock, much less smash the door. What? What the hell? What is there? What is the door modified with zero gravity bullshit now?
速度不要瞬発不要音速不要。
無駄よ、お嬢ちゃん。
砕けろ。
With full speed upgrades, Jessica's fist moved at the speed of sound, 1,225 kilometers per hour. However, how long had Jessica been in envy to gain that speed? She had started to envy George and Shannon's relationship about 2 years ago. 2 times 365 equals 730 days. 730 times 24 equals 17,520 hours. However, she wasn't envious all the time. It only happened when Shannon started going on about George. With Shannon's shift on about 3 days of the week, divided by 7 times 3, and it wasn't as though she would go on about George all day long. Her fond words for him would only leave a mark on Jessica for about an hour, right? So only 1/24th of each day. 17,520 divided by 7 times 3 divided by 24 equals 312, removing the fractional part. The number of hours that Kiri had been jealous was 157,680. In other words, this wasn't even 0.2% of the time Kiri had been jealous. Even 1,225 kilometers per hour, the speed of sound becomes only 2.45 kilometers per hour in the 1 out of 500 rule.
わかる？
What, so compared to what Kiri, so comparing from Jessica to Kiri is about to be the winner? Oh boy.
あなた恋も嫉妬も足りないわ。
It's already Jover. Even if she increased the speed of her fist, in Kiri's world, Jessica couldn't make it any faster than a walking child. Jessica ground her teeth, her fist still pressed against the door. If someone could have seen this from both sides of the door, it would have looked as though Kiri was holding it shut with a single finger.
さすがキリ
ねえ、この部屋は密室でしょ。ジェシカちゃんはせいぜいノックをすることはできるけど、中の私たちには指一本触れることはできない。
Yeah, because you have like the most powerful sense of jealousy. It's not just about using your finger, it's just your jealousy just empowers you. Which I feel like is unhinged, but you know, color me shocked, of course.
ベアトリーチェの密室定義ですね。
Kind of insane, but this magic is this is what we call the magic fantasy stunlock.
何それ。
こうなるとこの密室ちと厄介ですが、密室殺人を行うのは人間には不可能。それが行えるのは魔法だけです。ジェシカ様が真に魔法を理解されない限り打ち破れますまい。
もはやジェシカちゃんに私を詰めることはできない。やがて時間は進み、私がいつまでも戻らないことに気づいた親族たちが屋敷を探し始めるの。
So you're just gonna buy time for doing so?
そしてあなたは観測される。魔女も魔法も観測されたら消える。悪夢の時間はもう終わりよ、お嬢ちゃん。
Oh wow. Reading her by the book, huh?
おや、ジェシカがいきなり脱落なんてびっくりだよ。
どうか頑張って。愛しのカノンのためにも。
さあジェシカ、愛を信じてどうか奇跡を見せておくれ。
I mean, if Jessica's about to take a L from here, and this is gonna be embarrassing.
訂正するわ。時間の経過を待つ必要さえない。だってここに内線電話があるんだもん。
Using a phone.
もちろん断線なんかしてないわ。私はこの受話器を取る。これが私のチェックメイト。
Okay. Now why am I getting the feeling by the time she uses the phone, then the call won't go through? And if it does go through, well, it's Jover. The checkmate will be processed like that.
構築
密室殺人。
Construction completed. Closed room murder. What do you mean?
おや、
Are you telling me that she had a backup plan this whole time?
有効ですな。
浸透付与。打撃伝達。間接攻撃力付与。
Wait, what? Hang on. I'm so lost. I thought Kiri was about to win. And then I'll be laughing my butt off, but it seems like... What do they mean by this? This is not only a stun lock, but this is a stroke. Jessica's fist, which was pressed against the door, glowed red, and then white hot. Jessica didn't even swing her fist. She just kept it pressed against the door. However, Jessica's murder, quote-unquote, extended within the closed room, quote-unquote. Through the crack in the door, through the keyhole, burst the flames of hell. What? Yes, we're gonna pretend like someone used a. Wait a minute. There's no like flamethrower back in the 90s. I mean, not 90s, the 80s. What? Burst the flames of hell. Jessica couldn't see what was happening inside the room. However, even here on the other side of the door, she could tell that the flames of hell had swallowed the entire room. Oh no, she about to get cooked. I don't know, either this thumbnail or Jessica's, demonic eyes in her. Well, not demonic eyes, but soulless eyes. Kiri's smoldering death throes could be heard from across the door. Jessica clearly heard as Kiri danced the dance of death amidst the hellfire, fell to her knees, and slumped over to the floor. Slowly, Jessica tore her burning fist away from the door.
そんなに嫉妬の地獄が恋しいなら焼かれてろ。嫉妬の炎で永遠に。嫉妬から学ぶものもあるだろうぜ。だがそれは誇るもんじゃねえし義務でもねえ。やっぱりあんたおごってたぜキリエおばさん。
お見事な密室殺人ですな。
That's wild.
後片付けを頼むぜ。やがて見つかる遺体が黒焦げじゃあまりに申し訳がない。きれいにしてやってくれるか。
I didn't know the Ushiromiya family were having a barbecue inside.
かしこまりました、お嬢様。
Oh, man. Ronove transformed into a gold butterfly and entered Krause's study through the keyhole. Then he had to cross his arms and think about how he should even start cleaning up Kiri's unrecognizable corpse in this room that had ended up as a burning hell. Jessica finally let out the breath that she had been holding down her chest. Her normal human glint finally returned to her eyes, and then she couldn't help but shudder at what she'd done. even it had been just a trial on the game board for the sake of her love.
悪魔ども、これでいいんだろう。
Well, he definitely took someone's life, who was part of family. So I don't know.
お見事ですジェシカ。あなたの愛も本物だ。
Well, I guess Jessica's safe. George welcomed Jessica with a crisp applause. Beato timidly tried to join him, but Jessica yelled at her and she stopped.
ゲーム版の上の話じゃないか。
I didn't even hear the yelling. It's just Beato just, Chick Beato just changed expression.
そこまで悲しむことじゃね
理屈じゃ分かってる。でもだからって心の整理がつくわけがねえだろ。お嬢様。
I don't know. Was it really worth taking Kiri's life? I'm not. That's up for the people in the comments. I mean, to me, like Kiri is she's not really in the right, you know. Although I don't know. It sounded really vague whether Kiri murdered Asumu or not out of jealousy. So.
カノン君、私君のことが好き。諦められないよ。
Canon just stood like dumbfounded. No, I don't know if flabbergasted would be the better word for this.
だから示したよ。私の気持ち。私間違ってないよね。間違ってないよね。 お嬢様。
As Jessica started to sob, Canon held her quietly, and he realized that he would have to carry on the determination she had shown him.
何も間違ってないさ、君は。そして人の心を残し苦しむことも間違ってない。僕はそういうことに対し少し君よりストイックだっただけの話さ。
誰もがジョージ様の境地に至れるわけではありません。しかしどうあれお嬢様はとにもかくにも試練を成し遂げられた。お見事です。その決意の強さ敬服します。
そういうことであるな。ジョージもジェシカも見事やり遂げたことは同じだ。あっぱれであったぞジェシカ。今の密室殺人、魔女のわらわも見惚れるなかなかのものであった。
Well, when in doubt, if you can't break down the door, might as well torch up. If it's a closed room, might as well, set the thing ablaze. I guess. Jessica had used magic, quote unquote, to kill Kiri, who had holed up inside a closed room. In that instant, Jessica had constructed, quote unquote, a closed room murder, had it acknowledged by the demons, and raised it to the level of magic.
これで二人の試練が完了だわ。
Just like that.
さあ次は誰が挑戦を
Gee, I wonder who else will take the next challenge. I'm really curious.
ベアトリーチェ様かしら？
いやいやシャノンかもしれないよ。
ここはカノンの出番に違いないわ。
さあ名乗り出てほしい。次は誰が試練を
魔女がゲーム版の殺人に臆してどうするというのか。奥手も過ぎれば恋を殺すぞ。
So how is this innocent-looking chick Beato version looking ass gonna, build the confidence in committing a murder? I'm really curious.
さあ次は
誰が恋の殺人を？
The three who remained looked at each other. If none of the others raised their hands in the next few seconds, they would raise their own hand. All three thought this at the same time. So, they all raised their hands at the same time. The ones they loved had already shown their determination. They had to carry on. Oh, and the chapter ended just like that. Oh, lordy. Oh, this is a wild ride. The fate of those who did not fight. Sunday, October 5th, 1986. It is 0:12 a.m. 0:12. Okay, well, I don't know why it just... Well, I don't know what's going on with Rosa, but I'm just going to end it off from here. Well, that was a bit of a wild ride. Well, I'm just going to pick it off for the next part. So, let's see what's going on with Rosa this time. After all this, crazy shonen demonic shit. Okay. Well, with that said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.